No. I just pushed live
Oh,
right
okay.
now. So
I was just
it's
chatting
gonna
with you.
it's gonna take it's gonna take a couple of minutes. So let's see. Yeah, it's
I oh I want to thank you. Okay, everything, but I have time,
yes.
right? My head is
Yeah,
a
it's
little
you're all
pumped.
right.
It's like gone nuts. I haven't even
What's
drank
good?
tequila yet.
Yeah, you're a
Oh,
true Latina. A true
oh
Latina.
God, yes. There we go. Here we go. See, that's what tequila does. It makes your hair stand up.
Where are you from originally?
Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Ah,
Actually, I
Argentina.
don't know. I'm probably from some. I don't necessarily know if I am adopted, or so the story
Okay.
goes. The
Yeah.
story's gotten crazy, so it's either Argentina or quite possibly it's looking more like possibly Brazil. And but
I was thinking more like Pleiades.
yeah, I'm an Arcturian Andromedan star seed. I'm
No,
a
there you go.
hybrid, but I
We're
love the
all
Palladians.
hybrids. We're
Yeah,
all
we are.
hybrids. We're all mutts. It's
Mm-hmm.
5:05 in New York City on 555.
Yeah.
Cinco y cinco
Yeah.
y cinco.
Y cinco, 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 cinco.
Cinco,
So
cinco, 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 cinco. Let's see
just
what we
go
got. A
on with
minute.
those bad cincos.
Telling you. I'm going to play the intro and let people have a little bit more time. Hang on one second. We'll be back
Awesome.
in a minute and 19 seconds. What's happening, everybody? We got Maria's in the house. Ave Maria.
Yeah. What do you
I had to
do?
sing that.
How do you
I
solve? Ay
huh? Ay
chingada.
chingada. Oh my
Que
god.
pendeja.
Ay chingada. When I was a little kid,
No.
I only knew two phrases. My grandmother, my dear grandmother, who's been holding my hand since I woke up, come to me
Yeah.
many ways. She used to say "afuera" when I was in the house. You know that means get outside.
Yeah.
And then she'd
Yeah.
say,
Like get out.
What's the other one? I don't know if I can pronounce it right. Cata la boca. Shut up.
Cállate la boca.
Cachate la boca.
That means
Well,
shut
I
your
was down
mouth.
there in South Texas. I was down there in South Texas where they mix the it's Tejano language. It's a totally different Spanish. They
Right.
mix Spanish words with English words. Like they'll
Uh huh.
say for a soda, they'll say coca, or
Yeah.
for a cake, they'll
Yeah.
say
That's
cake
very
queca.
Latino.
Yeah.
And they
So
make up
what's
stuff too. It
yeah?
gets
Oh yeah.
all, it gets all convoluted, and it's gotten worse. When I first came to the United States, I was 10, and of course I'm 56. So it was 46 years ago, to Houston, and it was a very different Texas. But Texas, it's like its own little world
Mm-hmm.
almost. It does
Yeah.
its own thing, and it's just Texas. Yeah, I will be visiting there very soon. I'm very excited.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
So what's been
So
happening since we talked last? I mean, what's going
yeah,
on? It just keeps getting.
wonderful
It just
things.
keeps
It
right.
it
Right.
just keeps getting.
Tell me
It
about it.
keeps getting. So last time you and I had a blast, and I want to thank you back then for that one. But then, as you know, I've been downloading and working on something specific having to do with ascension today, right? Because we have all this information, which is a beautiful thing, and we know everything, and everybody's doing their thing, and everybody's putting out as much information. The light workers are incredible. The light worker community is just, they just keep going until they can't go anymore, and then they find another way, and they still do the light work, and so it's full. But I came up with something, and my first thought was I was going to write it like I always do. So someone else can then take it and make money off of it. A lot of our work is taken, but that's cool. Whatever,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hey, as long as it gets out,
It's right. As long as
But
it gets
yeah,
out,
there is something to be said for taking people's work and
making it your own.
Well, or even
I
keeping it in
wanted
its
to be given
original
back.
frequency. Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, we just
Especially
we gotta
when they
trust. Yeah.
We do, and so that's why I say it is what it is. It's the world we live in. It's cool. We understand the world we live in now. We're awake. We didn't before, but
That's
now we're
right.
getting it. We're learning
It's
how to
time to
manifest.
it's time to get jiggy with it.
Yeah, I love that song. So, first two things since you and I last talked. One is I came up with a brand new concept, and I wanted to share with you instead of writing it because I love and I want to tell you this, and it's something that aligns with me 100% in this new earth. I love the fact that you do your work for donations, as I do my spirit donations. That really is kind of in my thing. I believe that you cannot prove that we walk more in faith than by doing that, and especially in today's world that is so material and the matrix, a pay-to-play system, right? You don't got coin, you got nothing. So since then, I wanted to share with you because I want to support you in what I consider to be something kind of super cool that I figured out that a lot of people. And I just want to make sure, I know it sounds crazy, but I just wanted to share it with you.
Yeah, right on.
Right.
Let's
And
do
hopefully
it.
people donate, it's a new way. I mean, equal exchange of.
Well, I ran into we have a little bit of a lag, so I'm not interrupting you on purpose. There we go. Okay. I met a wise sister, what was it, 3 years ago? And she told me something. She said, take the word donation off of your comment after the shows and put the word contribution and the word support. And I did. And everything changed, but it wasn't about that particular incident. It was about the effectiveness of aligning with like what you're talking about, which is just to put it out there and trust, right? It doesn't run on the 3D measures of success, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
it doesn't even run on number of
way of
likes. Yeah, it doesn't run on number of likes or views, or it doesn't. This is energy we're talking about. I think whatever we are we a cell of whatever we are, whatever you want to call it? These communities, this community, those like this, all of them put together. I have a feeling our energetic impression on this earth is far beyond what we've realized. And I think we're fixing to see what happens as a result. And we'll know at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. There's a brand new way of doing things. We really are in a new earth. And so you have part of the collective. We had talked before about the trinity of the incarnates, discarnates, and reincarnates. Completely different chakra systems activating. I think we touched a little bit on that last time.
Let's back up. Okay, so it's a trinity of incarnated, disincarnated, and what?
So an incarnate is the first time in. Your first time as a soul. Like for me, this is my first rodeo. You hear incarnates say that a lot. This is my first rodeo. They're coming into this beautiful creation from other worlds where they are in oneness with source. Well, remember, we're here to understand what love is not, to better understand what love is. And so because of that, right, an incarnate is a star seed. It's a
Hmm.
soul that got picked by Mother Earth and Father Earth. Because remember, Father Earth and Mother Earth are their own twin flame ship consciousness. And then there's, Father God and Mother Goddess. We're talking, that's a fourth dimensional aspect of consciousness. So, who are you praying to, right? Um, there's infinite. It's like the pyramid goes like this, right?
Right.
It goes like opens up,
It's that.
and
That's
so
exactly right.
yeah, and so right now, what we everybody is trying to kind of align to their inner guidance in many ways, and so an incarnate is a star seed that comes here, and they're usually like all light workers. The more you've been abused, the more that you are from a oneness collective.
Yes.
Because we don't. It's kind of like. Did you ever see? I love this movie, the Tim Allen movie. Give up, never surrender. Galaxy Quest.
No,
You
I
ever see
never saw
Galaxy
it. I
Quest?
never saw that
Oh,
movie.
you guys get some popcorn and watch it. Okay, so you either spoiler alert. Galaxy Quest, right? It's with Tim, which I adore, right? And so basically, it's like a spoof on Star Trek. And what happens is actual aliens thinking that they're real superheroes like Captain Kirk. And this is a
Mm.
race that is they just love. Like in fact, little creature that was not a little creature, it says is, oh, lies. We're learning about lies. Because when you come from unity oneness, there's no deceit, there's no lie. Those are our
Mm.
dissension grids, right? To get to physicality, to trick ourselves into thinking that we are not love. Love is all there is. And so, that's exactly how it is. So an incarnate, right? We believe everything. We're like so gullible.
Hmm.
Somebody wants to sell this oceanfront property in Kansas, we're on it, because they wouldn't buy. They would just take my money, and this has been the great awakening for all the light worker community, is the fact that, oh wait, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We need to
Right.
understand that the world we come from is not this world, and our job is to evolve in a way past what we truly are into being able to be part of this world. And this is something that's happening right now. This is the light workers. They've been all kind of I want to say, what is it, encased. They've been in this little ray of the source creator holding us and protecting us, while around us everything's breaking. Everybody's finding out the truth that we have known for what, decades, right? I mean, I hate to tell you I told you so, but I told you so.
Hey, there's some people I've met. Who is it? Well, Mary Rodwell's going to be on tonight. She's been like woke for like 40
Oh,
years. Somebody was
good,
on. Oh,
yes.
Franco started his work in 1985.
That's crazy.
36. Yeah, 36 years ago. And he said,
And
even
so the
before the.
majority, and
Yeah.
those are earth shamans.
Yeah.
Those are earth shamans. They're the okay. So the incarnates are the star seeds, first rodeo. The reincarnates are our brothers and sisters that have been going around, right, for soul evolution. And then a discarnate is when the soul leaves and gets kind of caught in fourth dimensional ethers, astral
Okay.
ether kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
So those are the ghosts and the entity who
Yeah.
voodoo voodoo baba, whatever, right? We really at this point, we really, in fact, I know for me, my team has been exceptionally stern, and I want to use that word very clearly, to let me understand that under no circumstance for me right now am I to do any kind of astral project traveling, anything like that,
Yeah.
because the warfare up there is being handled by those that handle the warfare in fourth dimensional in
Right.
space, and whether it's interdimensional, intradimensional beings, entities, ghosts, negative alien agendas, whatever. Everybody's doing their own thing because everybody's fulfilling their life purpose. So, if the Pleiadians are kicking ass, right, and they're fighting, I don't know, bad guy alien tribe, they are doing it because it's their divine purpose. They were
Right.
made to do this. Our creator knows their heart and now is allowing them to be the superheroes, to be the ones. And that's really when you know that you're ascending. It's because you start to realize that, I love when the what I call the trump card, got up and pointed his finger to the sky and said, I'm the one. Yeah, in his timeline, he's the president of the United States. You are the one. Of course, so once we begin to look at it from a higher aspect, we're starting to understand a little bit more of what's truly going on here. And I don't even know, was there a question to that? But since you're not talking, I think that's something.
No. I was gonna ask you a question, but I'm looking at I'm making sure that looks like we're still going. We got 49 people. I think, oh, it's freezing up. Okay. It's freezing up.
Oh, okay.
It looks like, I'm just trying to figure out if it's better on YouTube. Pamela said she's going to YouTube. No, you said something really interesting. I did have a question. You mentioned the astrals, and I remember,
Yes.
I, like a lot of people, and I don't know what the percentage is, but I would have to say it'd have to be 75% based on my experience. People that had their wake up on or about 2012, not people like you. But but well, okay, so you're at the same time period. So
yeah,
I remember, yeah, okay. So I remember 20, for me, it was May 30th, 2011. I remember 2011, 2012, 2013, and probably maybe even going into 20, no, I'd say 2013. So like 11, 12, 13. I remember on a personal level, there was a lot of astral activity. Okay. And I did a lot of remembrance and, working with my abilities and, just different things. Right. And so you used to hear a lot about that. You used to hear a lot about the astral realm, and I came to understand it. I would have described it like you did. It's I would call it fourth dimensional. Okay. And so I was wondering, it seems like it's kind of died down, I guess. Do you think that its influence in what we call 3D, or even in the space 3D to 5D? I mean, in our experience, do you think that it's kind of diminished over the years?
Absolutely not. I think that what is happening is, okay, so here's the interesting thing. So again, my spontaneous awakening, right, happened on August 23rd, 2011. And it was really a death experience. Really, is what it is. I mean, it was just experienced in a different way. And so immediately, I was already up and running by that 11-11-11 portal, because I'm a starseed, and I was doing Arcturian grid work at the time in the south of the Atlanta area, because of the Atlantis grids, as you know. And so I was doing away from the get-go. My team was adamant that I was to not in any way, as I began to step into my gifts and to activate my DNA, was I to go astral at all. I could not be protected. And what was happening is that, everybody was finding, it's like anything, right? When you're a child, everything is one way and you experience it all. And you've had parents that are watching over you and protecting you. Well, the astral, it is the invisible realm. So it's kind of like the World Wide Web, people that say they are something, but are they really? Anybody can be anything. Who are you really connecting with? And when I first came into this awakened world, everybody was channeling. they were channeling Lord Sananda and ships, and they're all this, and it was all convoluted, and they kept saying, you know, hold on, and what I call the proverbial carrot, that they keep you focusing on what's coming and
carrot on the
living in
stick.
the now.
Yeah.
Nasty etheric implant that we had. That one disconnected, I think, in 2016. But I was guided to not in any way go out there, because what was happening is that the warfare, we have to understand, as above, so below. As our world was at war, so were the heavens, right? The heavens were at war. In order for you to get, you need to be at the 6th dimensional level of dice. The 5th dimension, the dimension of peace, this is usually how you become, let me explain it in how you acclimate to navigating multidimensionally. So we have to, as our gifts, when we leave from a 3rd dimensional earth, crown chakra, everybody wants to exit out the crown chakra, right? Where are you going? Nobody was thinking about that one. Well, you exit out into space, into the 4th dimensional realm, right? We're all trying to get to 5th, to the dimension of peace. Well, if you take the 4 dimension and the 3 dimension and you add them up, that makes 7. 7th dimensional earth is the dimension of the principalities, the higher level spirits, right? And you have to get past all that. And you know, even the Bible talks about that. There's a part where oh my goodness, my mind's gone blank, but basically the prophet prayed, and I think Archangel Gabriel showed up like 5 weeks later and said, listen, God heard you the minute you prayed, but on my way I was stopped by the Prince of Persia, and I had to come get me out. So you start to understand that these beings and entities that are used to navigating the 4 were having trouble navigating, right? And that's exactly what, as everybody was exiting the system, because the frequency of the earth and the planet was rising, and it was no longer comfortable to be here, becoming discarnates in the astral and floating around waiting to attach to something to come back to earth.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people got in trouble, and we heard about a very, very dark and malevolent things and very frightening things happening to everyone. Now, you know, I truly absolutely believe that once awakened, you know, they those were experiences that were in infinite ways picked for soul evolution. So I'm not going to say, you know, I believe that everything we do is divinely perfect for us.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
So
what about
wrong.
Right. Exactly. What about
it just happened. It was just a soul experience.
Right. So I mean, like in terms of like 2021, what about the okay, what am I trying to say? So what about the way to look at it? That's not a good way to say it.
Yeah, no,
but if we look at
right?
if we look at like in terms of the conversation, like a radio frequency, okay, a radio frequency, and say we are the transmitter, or however you want to look at it. That is there enough? It seems to me like there has been enough code given to at least the the circles I run in, which everyone, I mean, this is what I do every day, talk to people like this and see people's posts and so on. I feel like there's enough information, enough codes come in that the transmitter itself can raise its frequency, or let's say raise its vibration, raise its vibration by bringing more frequencies into balance within itself. So almost like it's almost like it can, if you look at it in 3 dimension, but that it could travel through 4D and be impervious to any, almost like you're in a, you're in a ship that you can't be penetrated, and your frequency is higher than the 4D is all I'm trying to say. What about that? Do you think that makes sense? I mean, do you think people,
I know what you're trying to say. I'm
Yeah.
going to go back to your question about 2021 and how I understand it. And in
Mm.
order to understand 2021, we need to go back to 2012. So in 2012, the whole world, 12/21/12, the Mayan calendar was coming to an end, and you had all sorts of things, and grid workers, light workers were being called into service. They were being shipped. I mean, I ended up in Quito, Peru. Then I went to Mexico, to the Guadalupe, to the Virgen de Guadalupe, to the Basilica. Then I was called to go to Italy to work at the Vatican. Light workers were just flying, trying to ground the codes into all the ley lines. And so the first set of light workers went through, and they cleared, opened up their heart chakras with very mother energy, right?
Yeah.
And they allowed all the souls that were trapped in ley lines to exit.
Yeah.
And they clear the ley lines. And so then the energy started to come in, because you had to make room for those new codes to, to come into the grids. In 2012, when the end began, right, we were all quantum entangled. What we didn't realize at the time, one, is we had no idea what was going on because it hadn't been created yet. But two, specifically, is what we now understand, or at least I understand better, is that this past December of 2020,
Yeah.
the Ethiopian just turned 2012. That's quantum entanglement.
Wow.
So in a way, we have been trapped in 2012. And now, technically 2013. Well, it's 2021, which is the energy of 22 and 1. 22 is the energy of divine partnerships and builders of the legacies. And 1 is the energy of creation, right? It makes for a 5, which is the energy of change and the energy of the Christ consciousness, which is, in a way, in the English-speaking world, the winner chicken dinner kind of way of expressing our story.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay, so 2020 is kind of like if you're going with your radio station and you're going from one station to another. 2020 is the static in between going from 2020 to 2022. That adds to a 6, is that's a dimension of paradise. That means we will be the forerunners, the volunteers, the light workers, all brand new soul contracts, the ones that are here to set the legacies, right, for the new generations to come, so our artists can become our legacies, right? We have to set very solid timelines for them to continue, so that it's kind of like, I'm going to use, for lack of better thing, one of the families, the Rothschilds, right? They are a legacy. You're born into that family. You had the finances, right, to make critical decisions about this world, and critical decisions about the light, the dark, and all of that. Well, there's new legacies coming on. The meek shall inherit the earth. What does that mean? It means that if you have stayed in the God, in the Christ consciousness, if you are, part of the 144,000, which are the ones that signed soul contracts to anchor the new points of light in the new earth, if you signed up for that, then right now what you're doing in this year is you're basically getting everything cleaned up to prepare for 2022, which is when we begin to reshape the new world with new ideas, with new solutions, with higher dimensional, because as Uncle Albert told us, we cannot solve the same level, we cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created.
That's right.
That's what we're doing. Now that I figured out, is 2 things. One is, I have a great prayer that I would love to share with you, because it has just kind of changed my world. And I love prayers. I'm known for like the Arcturian Declaration and all my prayer things. I just adore it. And so a friend of mine, not a friend, I consider them a friend, soul family, has a YouTube tarot channel that I listen to. It's called JDS, because he really resonates with me.
Right.
Even though I'm a reader and it's what I do to discern and keep growing by the masters. And he's clean. And so he came up with a prayer that I kind of took from him and then kind of made it my own. And I would love to share it with you if possible.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, especially because we just went through the Greek Easter this past Sunday. So that's another quantum entanglement. We just finished the crucifixion timelines this past Sunday when the final timeline of Greece went through it. Because remember, it's the final time, we're all quantum entanglement, so everything is happening. So the prayer that I always say now, before I kind of drop into my space to figure out what up, is this. God loves me, and God protects me, and God fights battles. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am highly favored and protected from all evil, and so is my heart collective once I love. You like it?
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
God stuff, man. Yeah. So I'm gonna here's my.
What is that?
It's these are part of my cards that I'm making. My tarot. They're gonna have prayers and things like that done.
Cool.
That's my little.
Very cool.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about the real thing. The real thing.
Which is?
For me personally.
What is the real thing?
Right.
I am soul.
The real thing.
That's the real thing.
Yeah.
I am soul.
Yeah.
And the human is the hero. They're one and the same. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what I want, why we are in transition and why we finally know that after, thousands of years of waiting for the world to change and come out of war and for us to stop killing our planet, killing each other, and for us to begin to ascend into the next level and ascend specifically out of this Aryan age, which I don't know if you ever read Madame, is it Blavatsky? You know how she has the ages of man. And so, there's the Polarians, the Hyperboreans,
right.
the Atlantean, right. And now we're in the Aryan, which is interesting.
Now, are we
the white man?
No. Are we?
That's the fifth root.
Are we leaving the Aryan?
Yes.
Era, and what are we moving into?
I think that I don't know, because we haven't finished the evolution, remember, because only the forerunners have bridged and anchored into the next, it's kind of like the forerunners. It's like an inchworm, right? They went and they made the bridge, right? So now we're holding, and everybody's waking up going, oh my God, I'm throwing up because I ate McDonald's, and they're like, they have no idea what's going on. And we're like, it's your frequency.
Yeah. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, we got, we need to remember how hard our awakening was, because we've been at it now. We're the pros, right? We're the old people.
Well, it's coming. Man.
Yeah.
It's coming.
So what I started to earlier, I started to begin a download that had to do with the age of Aquarius. And I'm fascinated by astrology. And I am ignoramus. Okay. There are masters out there. Not my thing, but I adore it. I adore everything about it. And so I started to understand that while the astrological sign, right? When I don't know if you remember when the 13th sign came up, the sign of Theocus, which is the 13th gate, and it's also the sign of the serpent, right?
When did it come? Go ahead.
And I think that the information started to come out in 2016. Lisa Renee with Energetic Synthesis did her Magnus Opus, and she broke it all down, and it's magnificent work. Please support her. She's unbelievable. She had a spontaneous awakening. I spoke about her last time. But so when Oificus came in, right, and was a constellation that was discovered, right, there's actually 99 constellations that contribute to the soul evolution on planet Earth system. Okay, so it's kind of like a test tube.
How do you say his name? Oh, somebody put it down. Ophiscius. Yeah, that's my sign.
Ophiuchus.
You know, that's my
I
sign.
know it's
That's my
November
sign.
30th to December 17th.
Yeah.
So before you were what?
Sagittarius.
Okay, and so Sagittarius is Earth element?
Sagittarius is fire, isn't it? I don't know. I think it's fire.
I'm sorry, that's right. Again, astrology, I'm learning, but you know, dyslexic sin. So
Well, don't ask me.
because by you kind of Badinsky into the wheel, right? You kind of Badinsky in the Ophiuchus is to December 17th. It shifted in its water and ether. Here's
Water
a super
and
cool
ether.
thing. Here's a super cool thing. So we're working on, we came off of 99 constellations and more fell asleep and more fell asleep and more fell asleep and more fell asleep. And then we got as far asleep as we could and we started back up like a test tube baby. So we got to go back up and clean our way out. That's why the fourth dimension, you walk backwards in time and you manifest backwards. Because the third is time forward, the fourth is time backwards. So you've already met. So for me, I was born a Gemini and I was adopted 7 days later as a double Gemini because I'm a star seed. I had 4 different soul contracts to be able to come in at this time. It was, I'm a seer. I'm not even a incarnate. I'm a volunteer. So I came here to assist the forerunners. So I was
So what's
Gemini.
No, what's the difference between an incarnate, because that's one that's a star seed that's come one time, and a volunteer?
Okay, a volunteer is when it's kind of like on Earth, you know, the older people when they retire and then like they have everything they need, but they go to the hospital once they got their little pink coats and you know, and they help people.
You mean like a Walmart? You mean like a Walmart greeter?
The little candy stripers, get out. Yeah,
My grandmother was a candy striper.
Hey, so
The
is
symbol,
my family.
yeah.
So an incarnate can be an incarnate. Every star seed is an incarnate. But an incarnate, when they come in, if they build up karma, then they become a reincarnate and got to go all the way around to get out.
I think that's what happened to me about 10 million years ago.
Yeah, we weren't really reading that fine print, you know.
I think I think
cocktails or something.
I think what happened to many of us was they said, "Here's the mission," but they forgot to tell us if you have a high propensity for thrill seeking, living to the limits, that you'll probably go from the incarnate classification to the reincarnate classification.
Yeah. Exactly, right? And again, like I said, it's one of the reasons why so many star seeds, if you see the birth rate, and especially in the United States, and I don't know about other countries, but I would think it's the same. The birth rate in our world is slowing down. No, just, you know, souls that are coming in here are choosing to not be stuck in karma. They're here to do a job. Yeah. And, you know, and so one of the fastest ways, of course, to develop karma is to have children. That's why they choose not to do this. And I think it's so fascinating because I heard Dolores Cannon said the same thing. And I was like, oh, I love you, Dolores.
So what was that?
I work with Dolores Cannon and with Cryon of the Magnus. Okay. But she spoke about, you know, with her, when she was hypnotizing and everybody was doing that Q, you know what I'm talking about? She talked about how
QHHT.
Yeah. Yeah. I
QHT,
flip it all around. Yeah. So so I am a Gemini. So I had to clear 2 different karma because I'm a twin. In order for me to ascend out of my sign of Gemini, right? And so what has happened, which is fascinating, why? Because one of my biggest problems is that I am a mom. And even though I have adult children, after my awakening, that relationship changed because I was no longer, I was being called to walk in service. So the role of mother, even though my children were already grown and everything played out that way because I couldn't live in that way. I'm so far off grid. I'm off grid. I had to come to, you know exactly how it works. And
I mean,
so in order
that's it. Yeah, I think that's important though for people to hear. I mean, because it's a true part of the journey. How did that happen at the, boots on the ground level? How did that happen at the human level? I mean, did you have to like have a talk with them and say, I'm not the persona?
I will only, I do not speak of my personal issues because there's
Okay,
some
I'm
very
sorry. No,
malevolent
no. Okay,
people
I got you. I
around me.
got you. I got you.
But
Yes. No,
but
I'll respect.
I have incredible children, and I'm very, very, very blessed. But I have chosen because I have to. It's my soul service, and they're doing their
Yes.
soul work as well.
Yes.
But it has been to release that role. I couldn't let it go because a mother can never cut the umbilical.
Yeah.
Everybody else can cut cords, and you can do etheric cording, and you can do all that stuff. But a mother that gives birth, that umbilical is here until you exit. Trust me, I tried. I was trying to learn because I knew what my service was, and I knew that what was needed of me in order to be able to focus and walk in service to us to be able to access this information because it's my job. It's my soul's job. I'm awake.
Right.
And so it's been hard.
Let me ask you, because there's a couple of interesting things. One, you said that some of the incarnates before, or certainly now that are coming, aren't here to F with karma. So they're not having kids, and they're here and they're clued in enough, and they're getting to work. And we're seeing this a lot. It'll be interesting talking to Mary Rodwell tonight because she works with children. And a lot of the children she works with,
I work with my star seeds are usually between the age of 14 and like 25.
Wow.
And these are very, very activate star seeds. And these are very souls. They are fully guided. They were normally born awake. They are here to do one job and one job only. There usually has something to do with learning about something that is not working in their planetary system, or something that is causing or keeping a third dimensional planet in their planetary system from ascending. Because we're a water planet, but we're dealing with fire worlds and with air worlds and with earth worlds. So everything is connected, and so these are very specific souls that are coming in here, almost like at PhD level, to study how the issues are being resolved here, so they can take that back to their planetary systems. Because we're going for worldwide peace here and universal peace. It's never been done before. We're going for universal peace of our universe.
I got you. I got you. So you brought up a couple of things. I want to go back real quick, and then you just added another one. But so you were saying how incarnates come in. They don't want anything to do with karma. Don't have kids, and they jump right into their mission. And then, but you also said that. I guess maybe this would be the forerunners. You have incarnates that have bore children. And you also said at the beginning of the show how one of the characteristics of this type of incarnate, I guess you're calling them starseeds, is that they go through a lot of abuse, like major abuse, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering, like, because when you were saying that, you were saying, because they come from such a high octave or high dimension, they have the ability to cope with that deep dive, right? But what I was going to ask you was, if you have first question, if you have a child, you're a female, you have a child, that's instant karma, basically. Like you said, that umbilical cord's tied till you leave, right?
Yes and no. Karma, we're talking about having a child is not what causes karma per se.
Yeah. But I just want to be clear. Yeah, I know that, but I want to be clear because you said I just want to be clear I understand it. You said,
Yeah.
I think what you said was that if a woman chooses to have a child, she enters the realm of karma. She's not like doing something
Yeah.
wrong, but she's tied. Okay. So I just wanted to take that point, the
Mhm.
point of first time here, right? Major trauma, and you're a female and and you take the deep dive and you have children. So you actually, enter the karma, which you're not familiar with, and you take the deep dive in an environment you're not familiar with because all you know is love. Do, would you say that the the mother who bears a child who is an incarnate, who's doing the work, the mission oriented work, that's probably got to be the most powerful potential in a human hybrid body?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, to me,
You're absolutely right, and of course, I don't, when we live in the consciousness of fight, in the consciousness of peace. One of the things that we know is that every answer posed to us is a yes and a no. We walk the line because we're able to see all aspects of it. We're able to see both aspects of it. We're not a binary system. We're a trinity system, so it's not just yes or no. We walk the world of maybe. And we understand that it is in that power of the maybe where things manifest. Or a mother when she comes in, right? So here's how I understand it. Souls sign up to experience. Right now, this is a very particular timeline because it's the beginning and the end timeline. As everything else is going, why? Because we're going from one age to the other, right? We're going from what, Pisces to Aquarius, right? Is that Pisces the fish, Jesus the fish, right? Is that? Yeah, I may be completely off on this, but
no, that's right. I think that's right.
uh,
Yeah, I think
I don't. It's like again, I'm just kind of
somebody
tapping and
will
moving because
confirm it or
yeah,
correct us. But I
yeah,
think that's what
whatever
I've
it
heard.
is.
I'm not a good light worker. Go ahead.
So what does exactly mean? But most importantly, why is it so important? And why am I so excited about it? Okay, because when I was a Gemini, I had the soul contract to be a mother, and I made that contract with two other souls, right? And those souls, let's just happen to say, are a Scorpio and a Cancer. Okay, because a Gemini is, and so whatever that sign is, right? That was our soul contract. Okay, and then awakening, but I was still a Gemini. So that meant that soul contract, there is an affinity between Cancers and Scorpios. So it was very hard for me to break that bond. The reason that we having right now this astrological ascension that is at all level is because I'm no longer a Gemini. Because of Oificus moving in there, I have now become a Taurus. A Taurus does not have the same relationship energetically with a Scorpio and Cancer. Do you see?
Okay, so
So
okay, I
it
get it.
automatically broke the etheric contracts. It's like the United
I got you.
States.
I
You could
got you.
see it,
Okay. So what you're saying
right? The
is,
United States used to be Cancer.
okay, so what you're
We
saying is that in the structure of our experience, we have the constellations, and we have the horoscope, and that at some point in the recent past, like the last couple of years, Osiphus came in or came back or whatever you want to call it, and because of the positioning in what was a 12 member wheel of astrology, it now became 13. Everything got moved, so it's kind of a
right,
representation or a sign that another sign that we've moved into a different era, and
right, because
from a
souls evolve
yeah,
astrologically. That's how souls evolve,
yeah, but like from
and
a
that's
grand design, yeah, from like a grand
mm-hmm,
design kind of
mm-hmm.
perspective, it's what you're explaining is kind of, both literal, metaphoric of how the energy shifted,
The
I guess.
multiverse cogs. The
Yeah.
cogs of the
Yeah.
multiverse
Yeah.
assist in soul ascension and evolution.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
got
for
you.
example, I find it fascinating because let's talk about the United States, right? The United States was born on July 4th, 1776, and July, right, used to be the month of Cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a Cancer acts very different, right, and has very particular strong tools and very particular weaknesses that are part of that soul's journey that they're trying to transcend and evolve
Mm-hmm.
past. So the United States comes into a world of Cancer, a very emotional world, had a lot of secrets. But think about it. What was going on in 1776? Heck, what's going on now? Because it's still 1776. It not? Are we not having sorts of stuff and strife in our own country, right? Because it's quantum. That's why you have to have astrological ascension, because otherwise you can't change. Nothing changes under the sun except the astrology behind it.
But the
What
but the
happened was the
Cox but the
United
Cox.
States.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So let's say
No,
that
no,
the
it's good.
United States was Cancer, right? But now we're going into the Aquarius age. We have remembered Ophiuchus. We're starting to ascend and remember more of our Earth and the Akashic records, right? We're instead of Homo sapien, we're becoming Homo sentient, or some are saying Homo Illuminatus, or whatever. We're glowing, right? We glow and go. So states now in under the new sign has become a Gemini, and what do we have? We kind of sort of have two presidents going on. Well, it's like our country has been reborn as a twin, and it's going to have to learn to get along, and so that's why there's change. Why is everything happening? Well, our country has gone from being a Cancer to a Gemini. Trust me, I just came out of being Gemini. That one's a biatch.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I look at everything, when I break it down beyond energy is consciousness. So I can see where, and I resonate where America would have a consciousness in any country, in any church, in any house, and you can go right down the line. My question is, to me, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to take a stab here, but I feel like we're you talked about those that have come to create the new templates. Basically, you said, what did you used a different term, but create the new templates, like to build off of. Right. Okay. So where I was going with it was, like, I feel like we're in this field of potential where the level of sovereignty is potentially able to create, maybe that's what you're saying, but to create a new constellations, new astrology, new templates that are not restricted by the movements of the stars, so to speak. Like, I mean, to me, this trip is that we are creating everything, and I'm wondering if that's what we're doing, if we're creating the new hologram, or the new, the new cosmos. I don't know what I'm trying
Like,
to say.
what came
I have no
first, the
idea.
chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What came first? And
The
so
goddess
I
did.
saw, and I think it's our creation. I think that or it feels like it's our creation. It feels like it's kind of like everything is getting synced up and everybody's being born. Because think about it. If you are on Earth and you live your life, right? And let's say you're born a Gemini, and my awakening was August 23rd, 2011. So August is, I don't know what sign. So I would have been born a Gemini and died whatever
August
August
is a
is.
Virgo.
Okay, so I was born a Gemini, and I died a Virgo. Okay,
Huh.
and then because it was August 23rd, and that was before I was awake, when there were only 12 constellations.
I got
But
you.
when I had my awakening, right, on August 23rd, it shot me. It normally I would have died, reborn August 23rd, and I would have come into a brand new a constellation to begin with, for different soul transcendence and lessons. What we're doing right now is we're making that transition without dying. We're going through an
Yeah.
astrological shift of the
Yeah.
ages without having died to be born into our new astrological signs of the frequency of our new souls as we awaken and we go from
Yeah.
like 3 years old to 4 years old or whatever. You know, we're so young.
You mentioned,
So,
you also mentioned something I've never heard before, and I'm interested to talk about it and what it means. You mentioned that Earth is a fire planet, and no, I'm sorry. Did you say fire
a
or
water
water?
planet, water.
Okay, Earth is a
But the
water planet.
fire
I'm sorry, I
planets,
misspoke. So let's just use the same thing. So Earth is a water planet. Uh, what are the characteristics of a water planet? And did Earth change its element, or was its element of water influenced at all by the change in the astrological thing?
oh wow, that's a great question. Woo! Um, yes and no. Okay, so Earth is a water planet. So souls that come here to experience emotions, right?
Okay.
Water is emotion, okay?
Okay.
So that's why if you so when we come in, right? If you were to talk about us to the Milky Way system, all right? Souls come in because they want to experience ultimately they want to experience making life in their body, the Milky Way, Mother Earth. That's the ultimate gift
Wait, go
for
back, go
souls
back.
that,
So go back. So the Milky Way, the galaxy, the Milky Way.
right.
What is the
It
connotation? What
tells
is
you
it?
we're here to
Milky
learn
Way.
about mothers and fathers and sons and daughters,
Okay. And it makes sense
right?
too
Giving birth.
because yeah, it resonates too. And I don't know really how to explain it other than this, that some of the what I've been exposed to, where I'm at with it, I'm not saying it's gospel, but that the primary attribute and gift and uh, product of this experience is found in the characteristics, the uniqueness of, let's just say, Earth, the human being, and that is the emotions. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot of discussion and narratives from different points of view in regard to how our energy was providing sustenance for beings and
Our
such,
emotional energy,
right.
exactly.
But how
Right.
the galactic family looks at the Earth and says, holy crap, these guys got so much energy, and now we're starting to be conscious of where our energy goes. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it makes sense to me because the emotional quotient of the human seems to be a real gift. I know it's
It
been a
is.
pain in the ass.
It's the
I know it's been
reason.
a pain in the ass for us, but really, what is this search we've been on all this time for love, right? And love is
Yeah.
taking on this new meaning, and it's kind of got like this spin on it of the human experience, where we've actually transmuted from this perspective of oh my God, emotions and sadness and anger and blah 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 blah. But we're actually turning this.
Right.
It seems to be following suit with the collective energy that brought us here today.
Right. And so the emotions, so and it's funny because I was thinking about this earlier today. And the if you, it's so men and women, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We're looking at two different species. We're looking at, children of Lilith, children of Eve, all children of Adam. But you got all sorts of stuff going on. But so I
That's
interesting.
okay. I got a
And
question on
so
that. I never
yeah,
heard that either.
and
Lilith and Eve. Did Adam
right.
sire?
Adam's first wife was Lilith, and Lilith had wings. And those are the angelics, right? So God, because you think about inner grids and outer grids, Adam was everything that Lilith was not. Lilith was everything that Adam was not. So Lilith had
Sounds like
wings,
divine
and
union.
she was considered the first mother, huh?
I said it sounds like divine
Right?
union, polarities.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
yeah. And so now this is the way I understand the story. So don't get on me. But supposedly after Adam and Eve, going around for I don't know a long time. um, Adam just wanted to like get on Eve and ruffle her feathers. Let's just put it that way, right? And so she didn't want to be on the ground because it was ruffling her feathers. She wanted to be, and so it grew into this huge, enormous thing. And basically she flew away. Now, whether she, whatever, these are stories that are ancient, part of the Akash that are before, before the Atlas, before before it all. So we're going back, to the part that Muhammad the Prophet speaks about how at first, the jinn were created by God and was created. It all happened in there. We're looking at, stories that are infinitely old. So after Lilith left, then God created a better fitting woman for Adam by taking his rib, so that they weren't quite so bipolar. So technically Eve was, if you want to call it, a stepmom to the others. But what they did was that gave a trinity of 3 different DNAs to be able to populate the earth. You had one father with 2 mothers, and therefore those 2 different, do the deed and have clean DNA. That's how I understand it. There's 2 mothers, 1 father.
I've never heard that version. What Bible is that in? I'm just messing with you. No, it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
I call them the way that okay, please don't hold me to this again. There's a YouTube channel called Observation Deck. Also Robert Seffer, I think he talks a lot about
I love Robert Seffer. He's my favorite.
No, isn't he great?
I love Robert Seffer. Yeah, I watched a couple of his.
I think he did the crazy little story. Anyways, I had a vision. This was a long time ago, long time ago, and a woman with wings. She appeared in my 3rd eye, and of course, I've been doing this a long time, so I pretty much put her in the corner and tell her, because I'm very, very my boundaries are very tight with any entity. I don't care who they are. I'm the master walking the earth. They're not. Yeah. And that's, I think, what the collective right now is starting to empower themselves with, and all the light workers is realizing that, they've been putting a lot of, they've been giving away their power to entities that say they are one thing, but they're not, possibly, or quite possibly not it. And they're not the masters. We are the masters.
Right.
Every single human.
Hell, we do it with people. Yeah. Hey, but we do it with people. We do it with people, So we stop doing it with people, and we claim our sovereignty from our human experience. It's gonna reverberate. Like you said, we are the master.
We are
fascinating.
The masters. And so
talking to you. Yeah. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You know what? It made me think of one thing, and 2 things actually. Back to it. Going back to Ophiuchus and astrological ascension, which I'm going to do a workshop on it. It'll be like some sort of YouTube thing. I don't know. Somebody will help me, I'm sure. But anyway, so think about it. Before, when you were, what did you say you were? Before you were awakening? Sagittarius. And then
Peter
after
Pan.
awakening, you became Ophiuchus, right? And Sagittarius, you said, was fire, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you've become Ophiuchus, which is water and ether. That means that you have mastered the element of fire. Remember that this earth is, each dimension is controlled by an element. And in order for a soul to ascend, you must be able to master that element. And the elements, as we know from all the trees, water, air. Help me, what else? Water, fire, earth, and ether.
And plasma. A lot of plasma in the air.
Yeah, plasma. And that's the 5th dimension. And so in the 5th dimension, is the dimension of peace, which is where we are right now. I love that today at midnight, so I'm calling it, our prayer day begins. So I personally am asking everyone to tomorrow, when it's prayer day, especially at the hours of 11:11, 1:11, 12:12, 10:10, those hours, just join in prayer along the world. This is huge. It's enormous. We know by science how much prayer changes the consciousness. And then as far as show, I was blessed to be called into global service to do grid work at the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon in Mexico City back in 2014, I think, with another light worker who was working with Lisa Renee in energetic synthesis. And we were called into service to go to Mexico. And I have a beautiful love for Mexico City. I work at the Basilica there, and especially because I carry part of the soul contracts from South America, having to do with the Catholic Church and having to do with very different things that govern the United States. So
Mexico,
today is like a
that govern the United
super
States.
thing.
Yeah,
Huh?
that didn't surprise me. Yeah, Mexico is very,
Everything's
very
quantum.
powerful. Very. I mean,
Yeah.
talking to you is very interesting. I really enjoy it.
Well, thank you.
What
I wanted
we'll
to
have
tell you that for now, like you moving into Ophiuchus, you're now going to master water and ether, which, if you think about it, is plasma, which is 5D. Because 5D is the departing station to other dimensions. From 5D, that's where you move from, and we manifest completely different in 5D. You have to connect to a memory from your past that is happy and positive in order to fuel the manifestation. If there's any memory of pain or suffering attached to that past memory, the manifestation in 5D will not occur, because everything here is guided towards your spirit, guiding you towards your divine life purpose. So,
there we
from
go.
here, it's kind of like we move about where we go.
There we go.
So you're now going to,
You did
and I've gone from air to earth. So I went from an air element of Gemini to an earth element that I'm now to master, which I'm learning. And that's why I'm finally landing and grounding. I was air before. So I was, I couldn't ground. I was tapping into all the cosmic energy, but I have, a completely isolated high priestess life because I'm not grounded on the earth. And so now my new element, being Taurus, can ground and learn how to manifest again to build the legacy of my ancestors.
El Toro.
That's
like a bull in a
right.
china shop.
That's
Everybody
right,
watch
baby.
out. Everybody watch out,
I,
especially if you get
I'm
some
so
tequila in
sorry.
you. Hey, listen, I really appreciate it. It's good seeing you again. And
Hey, it's great seeing you. Looking
hope
forward
to
to
see
your week. Your at the end of the month, your workshop retreat in Sedona, right?
Yeah, festival. Soulogy Fest.
Festival. Yes.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Yes.
rocking.
Oh yeah.
Rocking.
I'll be rocking
Definitely.
with you.
Right
Yeah,
on.
I'm so psyched. So anyways, the big thing then is two things: ascension, and how it's going to allow everybody that has been stuck, it's going to allow them to move forward. It's going to allow them to finally release things that no longer serve them. Why? Because now the cogs of the universe help us push us along to the right place, to the synchronicities and the divinity, so we can move forward and prepare for 2022 and the full beginning of Aquarius.
I'm just
beautiful.
I'm just looking from one moment to the next.
Yeah.
It's a whole different experience, and it's picking up steam. We got a lot going for us. Everything's going for us. Everything's going our way. I appreciate you. I love you.
I've had
Thank you.
6 miracles happen. Yeah, it's been wonderful. Thank you so
I've
much.
seen a couple of
come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll see you soon. You take care.
I will.
Okay.
Ciao.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And don't forget, we've got Mary Rodwell coming on in an hour and 45 minutes. Okay.
Woo-hoo!
Peace out.
Donate.
Take it easy, Maria.